So now we're recording the session. What happens here is when you're signed into the MLS, what you want to do is you want to go up to tax, and then you want to click on Real List. And when you do that, it's going to open the Real List window just like what I have here now. I think everybody can still see it. If you can't see it or something, if I kind of lose people on this, if somebody will, just unmute yourself and let me know, because I'm not going to be paying too much attention to the window to see if it's actually still going with you. Once you're in Real List, what you want to do is pinpoint, find you a community that you're going to work with. And a lot of you guys have heard me talk about how I used to send out to whatever it was, 80-something homes. I'm going to pinpoint down to the same community that I used to send this stuff to. And all it was just a small little area here. Oop. This Lark Song Loop community right here, this is the one that I used to market very heavily. And all I did was just pick one small community and do it. Now you can do this to 4,000 homes if you want to. It doesn't matter. It's unlimited. But what I would do next, let me see, I've got my, okay, that moved that up there. You got to click on My Search. And then come over, grab the drawing tool. Pick rectangle, and you can do this many different ways. It's however you want to do your search, but I'm going to just select this little community here. So I'm going to do like that, and this should highlight every one of the homes that's in here. After you do that, you actually do have to come over and hit search. Now that just brought up, how many homes is in here? I used to say 81, but it might be a little more than that. Oh, there's 110. Okay, actually 109. This one right here is part of Summerfield's buffer zone there. So once you're in this and you have this, what you want to do now, after you have selected your community, you want to come in and hit export. Hit the arrow, and you want to customize it. I just leave it in default. You can come through here and pick out any other thing in here that you want. There's, I think I've seen where there was like 400 and something different options in here. What this does is the items here on the right is really what I'm looking for. This will also, you'll see once we get this downloaded, you'll see that there's also going to be some, you can even come in here to get absentee owners, meaning that they're not living at the address that you're specifically looking for, but in the tax records it'll give you a mailing address to be able to reach them as well. So once you have this, you want to export it. Come on, load up. Okay, and here on the bottom left side, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I've got it downloaded now, and I'm hoping you guys can see this. I didn't think about this, but it's actually, I don't think you guys can see this. Let me think about this here for just a second so I can show it to you. Yep. Can everybody see the CSV file that just opened?
Yes.
You can see it on your computer? Okay. Okay, very good. Well, this is what I wanted to open up. So in here, you can come through and kind of doctor this up. But as you can see, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I already have the address here in this column D. Really don't need this address, so I'm going to delete it. Now I have the owner's first name, last name, mailing address, mailing zip, mailing state. And then it also says the owner's name again. This is going to be, you're going to notice that in this column you're going to have company-owned properties or investors. There's no phone numbers in the tax records in this particular one. You do have number of bedrooms, so you can, I like this because there's a lot of the reports that you can download this way, and I'm going to use it in a letter just to kind of show you an example. So now that I have this list, I'm going to save it. Let's see, where can I put this so I'll know it?
How can you save that?
File save as. I'm just going to label it client list so I can find it. Okay, so now that I have it saved, I can go ahead and close this out. And I'm going to open up my publisher software. Should have had this open prior. Sorry. Where is publisher? There it is. And I am going to say, and this is kind of funny because I don't usually do this on this computer, and this is a different version that I use, so just bear with me for a second while I figure this out. I don't even know how to get in here. Whatever, let me get into here and then I can close this out and say new. Well, I guess that's going to be the same. Blank. Okay, I'm just going to start out here on a blank letter. I'll be able to do the same thing from here. So on your letter, what you want to do is create yourself a letter, and you can, obviously, a lot of you guys will have your own, you can do your own letterheads and stuff like that once you're in here. But for me, what I'm going to do is just create a letter, and I'm going to enter the fields. So here, if I type in dear, and then I'm going to leave it, I'm just going to put a comma there so you guys can see. I'm going to come down and say, I see that you still live at, and then I'm going to leave that, period. Let's see, hold on, let me think of a letter here. I see that you still live at, that is a square foot home. Okay, so what I just did is I'm just making something simple so you guys can see this in the future. I'm going to make this font a lot bigger so everybody can see it. Okay, so now I'm going to go over and I'm going to hit mailings. And then if you look here to the left, you'll see mail merge and email merge. So this same list, if you had email addresses, you can bring this in as an email address and start sending stuff out for email addresses as well. But I'm just going to create this as a mail merge for now. And I'm going to do step-by-step mail merge. On the right-hand side, it comes up that for what list you want to use. So I'm going to use the list that I just created. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to hit next. And then I'm going to find the list that I just created. Which is client list. Now this is kind of important. A lot of agents here have said that they've tried to create these things before, but they just hit it as default. It always defaults as a tab, but always select as a comma a CSV file is what it is, a comma separated value file. Okay, now you can see that the list that I just created has come up. You've got your headers across the top here, owner's first name, owner's last name, mailing address, etc. Select the list here. If you don't, it will still show up blank. So all you want to do is just highlight it and say OK. All right, now you'll notice here on the right side that all of your headers have come into place. So what you want to do now is, if after you've got your letter all made up, so you can have your letter all made up here. So you want to make sure now you're going to say Dear, and you're going to say owner's first name. All you do is come over, put the cursor where you want it to be, and then come over on the right and hit owner's first name. Then you can fill your letter in however you want it to be here at the bottom. So I wanted to make it, I see that you still live at, and then I wanted to put, I'm going to come over now and hit mailing address, space. That is a blank, there you go. That is a heated square foot home in Summerfield. Then you can kind of get more personal. You've actually gotten personal with them already because you've detailed it down to their first name. You can put their last name. You could even make your own, you can add a different field in that CSV file to add something in to where you don't have, well, you're not going to have to retype this stuff up. You're going to see that this is going to produce a letter that's going to be the same but personalized to 110 different people here. So once you have this and it's all set, now what you do is you go and you hit Next, Create Merge Publication. And then one thing that you can do now is preview it. Oh, that brought up my printer. What did I just do? Are you serious? Guys, that was Rick Purcell's fault. He's in here and he's clicking buttons. No, I'm kidding. But I did just screw it up. Hold on just a moment. Let me get back.
Chris?
Yes, sir.
While you're working on that, may I share some comments while you work on it?
Yep.
This also, Chris is using Publisher, but another thing that you can do with this is enter into your CRM or Customer Relationship Manager. For example, I use Realty Juggler. Once you download it into Realty Juggler, you can take the same concept with this same list that you just loaded, and now you can do a drip campaign from that. So like, yes, you can use Publisher. You can even import your template from Publisher into your CRM. When I first got into marketing, it was what they called 3 to 5 touches in order to get a client's attention. Current studies show that they don't even see you for 7 touches, and it takes 12 touches in order to get a breakthrough. So although the publisher will set this one letter up and you can send it out, you'll want to follow up with 11 types of contacts or touches after that. So just keep in mind that this is what Chris is showing is a single letter going out to a mail merge, but you can expand that to any number that you wish from there through your CRM. So I highly recommend that in addition to Publisher, you also work with your customer relationship manager as well. Agree, Chris?
Agreed. Okay, bear with you. I'm almost back to where we were.
Yeah. Denise likes this. It's a good review. Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Okay. instead of me hitting preview, because that's bringing up my printer for some reason, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to act like I want to print it. So I'm going to say dear, and it's going to say homeowner. So when I say print, it should be bringing that up. Why is it not bringing? Oh, it didn't. Okay, that's why I made the mistake. Okay, can you see that on your computer here, Rick? Okay, so now you'll see after you have your letter made up, it's going to be personalized on, and you look down here at the bottom, there's actually 110. So it's going to say, Dear Brian. When I look at the next one, it's going to say, Dear George. It's going to give me their email, or not their email, their address, and also the way I set it up is just the square footage of the home. You can also make it say, I see that you're in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. I have buyers that is looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. You can personalize this however you want to. And when you go to print it, like I said, if you look at each one is going to be personalized to be right pinpointed to this particular person. It's a very simple process. There's so many different ways that you can use this. I actually, back in the past, made up envelopes and used the same CSV file to make up the envelopes and the letters. And I had my kids hated me because I had them stuffing about 1,000 letters a week that I was mailing out, and I made it very personal. You can even go as far as in the file. Let me get back over here. That's where I made my mistake, because I hit the X there. I thought that was my printer stuff. Okay, so what you can even get as personal as insert a picture, and let me think where I have this at just to show you. Dropbox, HomeXpress, is it logos? No. All right, you're going to get to see some pictures of mine for a second. I hope to God there ain't nothing bad in them. Okay, so you can even go as far as this. I mean, of course, this isn't a good signature file for me to use this, but you can, let me get that one more.
Larger space, yeah.
Yeah, just need to get in here with it. Again, if anybody wants to learn how to put their signatures on something like this clean, I can show you how to do that too. I just don't know exactly where the file is on my computer, but you can even make it to where you've got blue ink on it, and when you go to print it, it looks just like that you've signed, 1,000 different letters that you just put out, and all you have to do is just get you a trifold machine or whatever, mail it, stuff the envelopes and mail it, and you're done. But this actually makes it to where it's very personal when you're sending stuff out like this. Also, in your list, and this is for mailing, this is hard copy here. However, let me open the file again, and I want to show you what you could do. Dropbox. Client list. Okay, in your file here, all you had to do if you wanted to is make another header that says email, and anything down below it you can put an email address. Okay, so if you have that, your next person has an email, your next person has an email all the way through. So if you do have your personal clients that you have a database set up, you can save it as a CSV file, bring it into Publisher or other software that allows the mail merge, and then once you have that, you can come back into the software, and you'll notice here under mailings that you have email merge. So then you can set up an email template and send stuff out, and this is almost like constant contact and all that type of stuff. You can even get so detailed as even taking a picture of the homes and putting a picture in that to merge stuff over into each one to personalize it. So this is pretty much the extent of the class. I just have so many people ask about this all the time. I just wanted to put something real quick together for everybody to see how it's done. So I guess really at this time I will take some questions. Let me turn off everybody's Where's everybody at here? There we go. Any questions in here? Nothing?
Hey, Chris, it's Phil.
Hey.
What is your success rate?
Well, that community is also the one that I've told everybody how I used to do the CMAs on. I always said there was 81 homes in it, but there's actually, I guess, 110 homes in it, but I did sell 43 of those homes. I can tell you that it was more of a repetition type deal, that I just wanted to put something in front of them to receive something, but they will tell you, everybody will tell you that you only get like about a 1% return on your mailers. But to me, instead of just sending a postcard, it was an envelope that, you know, I tried to make it look like it was as personal, you know, personal as possible, to where I knew that people would open it up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
How many of these can you do for us a week?
How many of these? Well, there's a recorded video going on the back agent site later that you guys can review as much as you want. And it wasn't even, you've seen how easy it was. I had to do it twice because I messed up during this whole thing. But it's truly an easy process. You can go through and add different fields into your CSV file. You can add anything in here you want. You can, you know, I mean, so many ideas. And the tax records, you can take, for example, you know, I mentioned a while ago that there was absentee owners. If you look through here, what we pulled up was Lark Song Loop. So you can do this on a broader scale. If you want to try to look up, a lot of agents have asked, how do you get absentee owners? So I figured, you know, we can knock out two birds with one stone on this one here, because of everything here. This Lark Song Loop is actually, the owner is still obviously living at the home. But the ones that are this one, you know, all these are owners that live out of state, that those homes are rentals. So if you ever wanted to just send something to them, then you've got an easy way of pulling the absentee owners out as well.
One of the other things you can do in the real list, and I'm sure you've probably done this as well, Chris, is that you're probably pretty high probability that anybody that's purchased in the last 3 years is not a listing prospect. So you can also set your real list parameter that says 3 years or more, or 3 to 7, or 7 to forever. However you want to set your real list parameters up, you can do that. Another thing you can do, for example, is, let's say you've got a buyer for Riverview, and they're in a certain budget, and they're in a certain budget amount, certain size home, but you didn't find anything on MLS. You can actually set your parameters all the way up to that buyer's amount, guidelines, and then send out a particular mailing that, again, saying 3 to 5 years, I have a buyer that may be looking for your house. So there's a real list, has a lot of parameters and opportunities. You could go infinite to finite very quickly and easily.
You know, and to go one step further than that, a lot of agents use their own CRM, their own contact resource management. And I mean, I've got over, I think, 1,200 clients in it that I've either touched base with, like in Top Producer is kind of like what I'm talking about. But all of those, you can download the list and put it into a CSV file and be able to do exactly what I just did. I use it even as recruiting. I download the list from the MLS for agents and make a CSV file out of it, and then I contact agents this exact same way, except for what I'm doing with that is an email merge. So I'm actually downloading their email addresses, which obviously it's harder to get a client's email address than it is to get a real estate agent's email address. But anything else?
Yeah, you never chased me, I had to chase you.
That's right. That's right. Did you have a question?
Well, I was going to ask, is that available also, talking about parameters in IMAP?
Yes, I believe that you can still do the same thing in IMAP. It's just that I've always used IMAP is one that I used to use a lot more than this. And if you remember the old tax records that we had on the MLS, that one to me was more detailed. You can,
Yes.
it would download, 50 different, it would download 50 different categories with headers across it, and then you can go through and select which ones you want. Now, but actually, Realist is the same way. It's just that those were by default the only items that were selected when I did it. But you can go through and, there's so many other fields that you can select to try to download as well. It'll gather all the information off of what the tax records have. So, any other questions from people online? What was that? Say that again.
I was just saying thank you.
Thank you. Well, that is the end of the class. If anybody's got any questions or anything, call me. I will have this up on the website in just a little bit. I'm going to have it tweaked out to where it will play. And other than that, everybody have a good day.